So hi guys, my name is Toby Oniquili, and I think we're supposed to start at 12. I know we're running a bit late. It's just technology is never perfect, as we all know. So my name is Toby. I'm the CEO of Quilly Secure, CEO and founder. We essentially do compliance services. We've worked with the likes of IBM, Clear, Secure, um, Johnson and Johnson, Homeland Security, and General Service Administration, just to name a few. And we do primarily compliance services, and we help to fast track compliance for FedRAMP, SOC 2, PCI, and that's essentially what my company does that I run. But this is actually about how to break into cybersecurity, how to break into tech, and how to break into cybersecurity specifically. And I'm going to tell you how I broke into cyber. I've been in the field for about 10 years now. But let me first start. I actually don't even have a degree in IT from college. I have a degree in political science. I actually always wanted to be a lawyer. My mom was a lawyer. My sister's a lawyer. She actually married a lawyer. My grandfather a lawyer. So everybody was like a lawyer around me. So I actually took the LSAT to be a lawyer, law school, but I realized that wasn't for me. So I took some boot camps. I went to my university boot camp and I learned Oracle database, and I learned Oracle, and I started applying to jobs, but I didn't get a job. I realized that what I learned was good, but it wasn't hands-on skills for the job. I then took another Oracle class with another guy. This was not at a school anymore, but he basically like he had an office in a basement, and then I paid for the school in his office. There were like 20 other people there, and then we learned Oracle, and I finally got a job in Oracle after I went through about 10 interview rounds. I finally got a job, and it was great. Um, Oracle was great. I loved Oracle. Um, but then I realized, hey, I knew that this cyber thing was picking up. Oracle was kind of going to the cloud. Our database was going to the cloud. So I switched into cyber. I was like, I took boot camps and I interviewed and got a job, but I also took a pay cut for my first cyber job. I took a pay cut to get into cyber, learn, got mentored, and then never looked back. Always been learning ever since. So that's kind of how I got in. I took boot camps and I studied, worked hard, and I got certifications. That's one area of getting in, but everybody has their own area and way to get into cyber. And I kind of wrote down a couple of things that people should do if they want to get into cybersecurity. One of like the first things that a lot of people they think that cybersecurity is all programming or engineering, or even they think tech is all programming or engineering. I think that's just one aspect. So if you want to get into tech and cyber, I would say have very strong writing skills. You have to be able to articulate very technical subjects to a non-technical audience. So you have to articulate that in a community, like talking and also writing. So having strong writing skills is really important. I get that by reading lots of books. So definitely read a lot of books, um, nonfiction and fiction. Another way to get into cybersecurity, which a lot of people forget, is also communication. I know we touched on writing, but communication, being able to talk to the interviewer, telling them what you have learned, and then how you plan to apply it essentially to the field that you want to get into is essential, right? So if you're talking to interview and you say, hey, I've done this and this in cybersecurity, or maybe you don't have any experience, but I've learned this and this online. I've learned this and this. Sorry about that. My phone is ringing. Should have turned it on mute. Sorry about that, guys. I should have learned this and I've done this and this in school, or I've done this and this on an online project. Then you can talk to that person and say, hey, this is how I plan to use those skills on the job. And they might know you might not have any work experience, but they know that you've done this on your own, on a project based online, and then you communicate, articulate how you can apply that on the job, and they will like that. So if you can't communicate that to the interview, that's horrible. But if you can do it, if you can do it and communicate it, that's how you get the job. So a lot of times, it's not always the best person that is always the who can program or write the best program or do the best engineers who can communicate what they've done. Well, a lot of the on the job is communication. Another thing is get certifications. I have my Security Plus. I have AWS. I'm working on this Google Cloud. But get certifications. Get a Security Plus. Get an AWS
Get it.
certification. Get a Google Cloud certification. Those are just certain certifications, but get certifications. They're essential. And then another one is have have actually hands-on skills. So take labs, go to boot camps, go to these boot camps, go to these labs, really learn it really well, and once you learn it, you're able to actually go to the interview and apply and say how you can apply what you've done in the past. Um, Another one is network with people in the industry. Like same way you're talking to me, I'm giving us, talking how I got into the field, and you're getting my wisdom and knowledge. Network with other people in the field. Be present on LinkedIn. Make sure you have a really strong LinkedIn page. Make sure you can provide information to people. Um, if you were to look at my LinkedIn page, I'm always trying to give free information out to people. So if you're trying to get into the field and let's say you don't have a degree in the field, but you're taking boot camps or you're doing projects for free online alone, talk about what you're learning, talk about what you're doing on your LinkedIn page, post on your LinkedIn page. Recruiters will see that and say, wow, this guy's learning. He's a hardworking guy. We should hire him. He might not have all the certs, he might not have a degree, but he's hardworking. He's going to be on the job. He's going to be smart. So network with people in the field. That's on LinkedIn. Then also go to conferences. If there's any conferences around you, no matter how small or big, go to them. Network with people in the field, network with people there, talk to them, see what's really going on. Make sure that you're studying the right thing. You're studying the things that are in demand. Um, Another thing I do, I read cybersecurity blogs. I read different articles about different cybersecurity hacks, different things occurring. Read cybersecurity blogs. Read articles about cybersecurity. That's I think that's very very important. A lot of time interviewers will ask you, "What did you do? What do you read about in cybersecurity?" And then I'll give you guys some pro tips. So say you do break it, you get into the interview and you get the job. A lot of times they're always going to ask you, what salary are you looking to gain? Never ever give out the salary you're looking to gain. Always say, what's the salary range? So if they say, oh, what salary you want? What rate are you looking for? Say, oh, what rate are you, what rate range are you offering? And then when they give you that range, that's when you know that is the high end or low end. And then if you want to be sure that they're not lying, say, let me have, always say like maybe 10 to 10, if they say 60, 90 to $100 for the range an hour, say like, well, can you do 110? And then you can see maybe they might negotiate and say, hey, 105, and that's probably the highest. So, but sometimes they might say that's the range and that's actually the range. So that's another thing when you go to an interview, don't put yourself in a box, say what salary you're looking for. Just have an open range. Definitely act for open range. And then another area that I've also been looking at is, I know you talked about the salary and the ranges. Be passionate about the field, how to get into cyber. All those things I gave you, getting search, communication, working and writing skills, network, go to conferences, read blog. That's because I'm assuming you're passionate. Sure, if you want to get into the field for the money, there's a lot of money to make in cybersecurity, a lot of money making tech, especially cybersecurity, cloud, a lot of money, data science, lots of money. But if you want to go far, you have to be passionate, because there's going to be a lot of times when there are going to be things you don't want to do, right? But you're gonna do it because you're passionate about the field. Maybe they might even think that you have to spend money on that you didn't know you have to spend your own money on, because maybe it's just the way that it worked out. You have to spend your own money on to get this thing to work, right? But if you're not passionate about that, you wouldn't do what it takes. You would make the sacrifice. So be passionate about the field. Don't just go for the money. There's so you can get, if you want money, you can do real estate. You can get into crypto. You can get into stock tradings, and there's nothing wrong with any of those things, right? But if you really want to go far, be passionate about it. Be passionate about it at least. And it will show when you're on the job, and it also will show when you talk to an interviewer. Um, and the last thing I was just gonna I was gonna say, if you very 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 serious about it, one thing I've learned is, I mean, if there's certain core skills you can go for, that I know there'll always be jobs. If you learn Google Cloud, You learn how to architect it from a hands-on perspective, AWS, Azure. Those are a lot of jobs in those fields. Also, when you blend that with cybersecurity, the engineering, Google Cloud, Amazon Cloud engineering with cybersecurity, there always will be jobs there. There always will be need because people always going into the cloud and they always need cybersecurity to protect the cloud. And in the cybersecurity realm, I'm going to go a little bit technical, but try to learn some compliance, learn how compliance works, learn engineering works. Those are ways that you'll always keep a job. As we know, there's been massive layoffs, so everybody always needs a job. I've been laid off many times before. So if you want to protect yourself from layoffs, always having a job, learn cloud with some engineering. Those will always be jobs there. That's the one thing I've learned. And they also hire you the fastest when you have some cyber or cloud. It's a perfect realm. That's actually it for me. I don't have much else to say about it. And I kind of talked a lot, but that's about it. Does anybody have any questions or anything?
Yes, Toby, like you were talking about conferences, right? Like, you were asking us to attend conferences, even if it is smaller ones. Would you be able to suggest any meetup groups or conferences that normally city to city that varies?
Yeah, so yeah, you already answered your own question. So meetup.com and just type in cybersecurity, go to some of those conferences, go to some of those meetups there. But like I was just at this conference for Google Cloud Government Summit, where there's a lot of leaders, business leaders there that make decisions on the government. Obviously, that was an invite-only conference, but if you can go to like a conference like the Amazon AWS reInvent, Black Hat, BlackCon conferences, that's great. But some of the conferences are in different parts of the world. But just try to start small. Go to your meetups. Go to meetup.com. Look at what cybersecurity meetups. Meet people there and talk to them about more about the field. Or if you have Eventbrite, go on Eventbrite. Just type in cybersecurity. Go see what comes up. But I would just start local and start small. And like you said, just go to meetup.com and just type in cybersecurity. Any
Yeah,
other?
thank you, Toby, for the answer.
No
And
problem.
as a entry level person, right? So, what do you think? Apart from certifications, how do you present the resume? Because the entry level person doesn't have any experience. So, do we say that an enthusiastic cybersecurity learner, with all the following certifications, with all the following tool set in the resume? That's how do we present to the clients for hiring?
Yeah. So talk about if you take boot camps, put those boot camps on your resume. Like if you went to a boot camp for a class, like I have a school, we teach cybersecurity in my school. We help people get jobs in cybersecurity. We teach it and we help people get jobs. And we put our boot camp as an experience. So what you've learned in my boot camp is actually what you also do on the job. So we will put all the experience that you've done in my boot camp as almost like a job that you have done. Because it's almost like going to a job. It's just 10 weeks, a class of 10 weeks. But if you go into a boot camp, put those boot camps you do on as experience on the job. Also, if you're going to boot camp, if you're going to a project, you're doing projects online, put those projects you've done online as experience, because that's almost what you're doing on the job. But yeah, definitely
Got it.
you want to have a summary of who you are, enthusiastic, yes and yes and yes. But you want to have experience, and the experience could be on the job or projects or boot camps.
Okay. And how long is the boot camp? And normally, how many hours of training per day that composes this boot camp?
Well, mine is 7 to 9, Tuesdays, Thursdays. It's 10 weeks long, 7 to 9. Yes, and I'm not even the teacher. The teacher works. He's been in the field for about 20 plus years in IT, and he works in cyber. But yeah, it's 10 weeks, 7 to 9 p.m. Tuesday, Thursdays.
Oh, so it's about 4 hours per week and 10 weeks, like about 40-hour course.
Yes, but the teacher also gives you assignments that you have to
Right.
complete, and he's kind of sticks with you through the whole program. Also, the teacher also helps you with your resume, gets your resume ready for jobs and for interviewing. Yes, and they also give you like certification questions and answer to help you pass certifications. Anybody have any other
Thank you,
questions?
Toby. I think that's
Okay.
all the questions that I had. Yeah.
Okay. Anybody have any other questions or?
Yeah, hi Toby. So, can you please give, is it possible to give a free training for one person?
Just a echo in your thing.
Okay, yes. Yes, can you hear me now?
Yes, what do you say?
Yes, so I just said that, is it possible to give a training for the free training for the only one person for the cyber security?
So if a person wanted a training, could I give person for one person?
Yes,
Toby, his
for
question was, wait, Nilesh. His question was like, do you offer any like, scholarships to the trainings, like, any free trainings for like, some of the students that, that is what his question is.
That's something that we're working on right now. And it's something I can always discuss, but right as of now, I don't actually give out any scholarships for the training, but that's something that I'm trying to work on in the future.
Okay. Thank you, Toby. Yeah.
Okay. So it's this from 12 to 12:30. That looks like we're right on time. If
Yeah.
the if anybody doesn't have any other questions, I guess we can probably drop off. Or
Yeah. Thank you, Toby. Have a good day. Bye.
of course, thank you guys.